everybody! Welcome to another episode of Driftwood Tavern Presents. My name is Mike Fatum. I am your senior community manager. I'm also known as Ambassador Cal sometimes, and I am your host for these lovely weekly streams. I'm joined by my favorite co-host. Her name is Misa Gans. She's a lead product manager. Say hi, Misa. And we're joined by.
Everybody. How you doing?
Why were you so slow on the saying? Anyway,
No,
you're
Is it
good.
lagging?
It sounded perfectly in time for us.
Oh no! It's the delay is back. Ah! Every time I run a game and do VDO at the same time, there's a delay that sometimes is worse than normal.
Oh no!
Yep,
Trevor,
I just
no.
counted
Yeah,
5
that sounded
seconds between
perfectly
me ending my sentence and Misa starting talking. Oh well, we'll figure it out. But hi! We are also joined by basically our favorite person in the world to stream with. We decided to do this stream with basically nothing to promote, just because it's fun. We made up some stuff to promote so we could have this stream. Ladies and gentlemen, Treavor Bettis! Aquaperson 2000.
Hello,
Oh.
thank you. I
Oh, Mike, I'm not sure about this delay. It's really difficult.
I'm gonna turn off Neverwinter. We're
It'll
not
be
gonna play
fine.
Neverwinter today.
It'll be
I think
fine.
that
It'll be
fixes
fine.
it. Aquaperson 2000.
There we
10-4
go.
Weekly
I think
happens
that-
There we
every
go.
other
Maybe
week.
that'll be better.
Aquaperson 2010 Forward Weekly happens every other week. We just had a double week the last 2 weeks because there was a reason for that, one of which being our launch. But Neverwinter's back for Driftwood Tavern Presents this week. If you want 10 Forward Weekly, it'll be back next week. Huzzah! So yeah,
Hey.
let me do a quick
Huzzah.
test here. One of you respond when I finish talking.
I'm responding when you're finishing talking.
Yeah, it's still a
I'm
5-second
finishing
delay.
when he's talking.
Okay. I am going to do a crazy thing that I shouldn't do, but I'm just going to refresh the page real quick.
Did he just abandon us?
It still says we're on air, so
Oh no, we are.
Yeah.
I'm back.
still see it.
yeah.
Okay, let me
Okay,
test.
the inmates
are
Respond
back.
when I finish
Silence.
talking.
Hi.
Hi.
Yay! Okay.
Maybe
Delay
it
is
was because
gone.
you were screen sharing too.
It could be. All right.
If you were gone any longer, you would have had an inmates running the asylum situation.
Oh, yeah, no.
No,
We're gonna go off.
We were gonna go off the rails.
That
Yeah.
would have been hilarious. I mean, honestly, so, you know, it wouldn't have been that bad. We would have just, I assume you two would have just talked about Star Trek or, you know, something like that.
Any numerous of things, yes.
Yes. Obo, I thank you, Lauren. Yes, we know we are still on air. That is the idea.
No, she was answering us because
When
we were
we
just
were
like,
like-
"Are we still on the air?"
Oh, okay.
When you
Oh, got it.
disappeared, Yeah, and she was us going like,
I should have explained to you all that nothing would change for you. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
just
You were just
briefly
like, "Let
vanish.
me just try," it," and then it was just the two of us.
Just the two
It's
of you.
fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
How
How
are
are
you?
you? So Dungeons and Dragons, Satan's
Heard of it.
game, if you will. That's a license and IP that we all work on. So let's take a dive in and chat about that a little bit. So, Trevor, you are, in addition to all of the other lovely hats you wear, a writer for Idle Champions. What is it like creating stories for a game that is like a license that is by design, freeform for people to make up their own stories? How do you sort of stay within the bounds of that?
Very easily. I finally get to play out all of the conversations I prep in my head before a game as a player.
Oh,
Because those conversations never happen. You
They
spend
never
all
happen.
night lying
You
up in
never
bed
get 'em.
going,
You're just like, the villain's gonna, the villain might say something like this, and if he does, I'm gonna come back at him with this one, and it is gonna be cool.
And I'm
and
a
it never
high
happens.
charisma character, so I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna nail that. I'm gonna nail that. I'm gonna get advantage because my line's gonna be so awesome for the D&D DM. And then it's like the bad guy doesn't talk to you.
he just shoots you. What?
He just comes in and
He just
starts
starts blasting.
and you're like, oh my god, I was gonna try and talk another way out of this.
It's not D&D, but I'm in a Bite Marks game, which is a werewolf game on stream every other Saturday, and I thought we were having the climactic final battle with the villain last time we played, so I had really prepped this speech that I was going to give the villain, and then we did not meet him that session. just really worked on it. Tell us a little bit about some of the stories you've gotten to tell.
The first I started this position back in March of last year, and we just kicked off the Light of Xerixis adventure, which I know y'all are familiar with as well.
We did one too, obviously.
Yeah, I hopped on and I played a little bit of that one, and it was really cool. I'll get into why in a moment.
Yeah.
But the first 3 adventures had been written by the previous writer and content designer, my lovely and awesome friend Aaron M. Evans, and so I came in kind of 3 adventures in. She had done her stuff, and I had to pick that up and go running with my own thing. And so I got to do that one. I also finished Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And
Nice.
I just this last year, in November, got to start the Turn of Fortune's Wheel, the Planescape adventure. So, yeah, we've got that going now since Light of Xerixis finished last week, I think it was. And so, yeah, now we're having some fun out in Planescape and the Outlands and all that weird stuff.
Nice.
But that's a really cool setting, and it's really fun to tell stories like way out there. You kind of get to do like this. It's a totally different setting. Like it's so far different than like being on Faerun. So,
yeah.
I love the freedom you get in Spelljammer, like just like the weird stuff you can.
Oh yeah. That's kind of been the nice thing, is that like the 2 adventures that I've gotten to do the main chunk of have been these very different sort of adventures from even like Tyranny of Dragons or Storm King's Thunder or anything like that. I like, it's kind of novel now when I get to be like, oh, this is the end of the adventure. They're back in Waterdeep. I get to write in Waterdeep. I haven't done that this entire time. And yeah, like Sigil is one of my favorite locations. I've been using that in my games since 4th edition. Ooh. And so to be able to get to run my own wacky adventures in there where players can't ruin my plans, it's great.
wait, Trevor, are you another secret 4th edition fan? Are there 2 of us?
Oh, I'm not secret. They're right here on my bookshelf.
Hell
and Lauren
yeah.
is in chat. She is also a massive 4th edition fan.
Hell yeah.
That's where I cut my teeth on D&D was
Me too.
was 4th edition. Yeah.
Yeah, I got into a public game at Borders. This guy worked the store.
Borders!
Yeah, he was running 4th
existed.
edition, and because it was a public game, he didn't turn anybody away, so we would have tables of like 12 or 13. And then when the borders closed, we all kept playing together, so we'd have like 15-hour combats. Not really, but like 3 or 4 hour combats anyway.
That's so amazing. I actually got into it again. I played a little bit. I think it was probably 3.5. I played a little bit in 3.5, but I didn't really get too stuck onto it. And then I played Dungeons & Dragons 5e when I went back in. I started working for Wizards of the Coast, like when I was working there on Magic. When I was working there on Magic Arena. And the funniest thing for me about it is when I mentioned it to my mom, I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting back into Dungeons & Dragons because I'm working at Wizards of the Coast, the company that makes it." And she looks at me and she goes, "The game I played in the 80s?" And I had to do a full like, "Sorry, what, Mom?"
You did what with who now?
You did what? You did what in the 80s?
You played the devil's game.
My mom was a crazy hippie lady, so
so she was right into the devil stuff.
She would, she was all in. She was swan diving right into the devil stuff. But it was just like I was just like, You did what? And she knew exactly what IP I was playing.
That's
So
awesome.
I thought that was the first time that ever happened in my
That is
in my
really cool.
development career.
Hans Lowell over on Facebook says, no 3.5 or AD&D. Listen, Hans, whatever edition of D&D you love, it's all subjective. You are absolutely correct, but you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. I know a lot of people who still love 3.5. Many of them play Pathfinder now because, it is 3.5. But yeah. Every edition of D&D brings something new to the table.
Oh yeah,
and something different and wonderful, just
If-
like
if
playing
you're sitting-
Neverwinter does. And that was my segue into
Oh.
Trevor complimenting us on the Light of Xerxes, like he was going about
Yeah.
to a few minutes
Well,
ago.
So
Nice.
that was a great segue. I got a shout out. That was a great segue. I am gonna put my one little asterisk there. Like, as long as you are sitting around a table with your friends and you're having a good time, it doesn't matter what edition's on the table.
Yep.
I agree with that one.
Doesn't even matter what
But-
system's on the table.
But when I hopped into Neverwinter and did the Light of Xerxes stuff, it was really well because like as the writer for Idle Champions, like I'm sitting here with a text doc and I'm writing out the dialogue and like we're putting in like, okay, this is what we want the backgrounds to look like, these are the enemies we want in there, but I'm not seeing anything visual. Like I'll get to approve them later on and whatnot, but being in the process of writing Light of Xerxes and then going into Neverwinter and being like, oh, those are Xerexians that are attacking me. Oh, those are star moths up in the sky. Oh my god, the crystals! And then when I got onto what is it, the Star Dancer? Is that the
Moon Dancer?
The Moon Dancer, yeah. When I got on board there, I was running, like my wife came into the room, and I was running around like, look, this is Flapjack. I got to write Flapjack. Flapjack is so cool. And this, I was just running around and showing her everything.
We were so happy to be able to make him in our game, and also have him as a companion for players. Like Flapjack is a big one for us. We were super excited with that.
Yeah.
Flapjack is the best.
No, it's like. If you can have a flump with a cute little hat.
Oh yeah, flump. Just if you can have a flump, do it.
Yeah,
always
have
have a
it
flump.
right there.
Yeah.
Be whatever you want, but especially be a flump.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Marion 2123 or Marlon, sorry, 2123 wants to know when Module 28 is going to release. We don't have an exact date announced yet, but if you follow the general pattern over the years of when Neverwinter modules release, I mean, you can look at last year when different modules released. It'll give you a pretty good idea of when to expect it, I would imagine.
Around there.
Yeah. So when you're writing something for Idle Champions, are you just like pulling open the source book and going, okay, like if I was DMing this is how this adventure would go down?
Yeah, sort of. In fact, our producer Chris Dupuis, who I work very closely with when coming up with these, that's essentially what he described the role as. He's like, I want you to think of yourself as the DM for our players. And so yeah, like I got Turn of Fortune's wheel right here. I'll sit down with it and look at like, okay, this is what's coming up. I'm thinking about, of course I'm thinking, this is an idle game. I have to think about what is going to work in an idle game. So when there's parts where it's like, and then they talk for a long time, I'm like, well,
no, they
gotta
be killing stuff while they're doing that. Like,
they gotta be able to chew while they walk on that one.
Yeah.
Start stabbing. Get to the stabbing part.
Anyway, I started stabbing.
There was one recently. I don't know if it's out, so I'll be vague about it. But like, it was essentially. There was one part that I couldn't avoid where it's like, okay, and then they go talk to this person in a private room, and I'm like, cool. I don't know. The furniture comes to life and they fight it while they're talking.
My actual play podcast, we did a what the heck is it called? The library. The
Candlekeep?
Yeah, we did a Candlekeep adventure,
Yeah.
and our characters were all like level 2, and my wife, who was DMing, dropped a mimic on us, and we all nearly died. And so we literally spent the rest of the game stabbing every piece of furniture we came across, like just in case.
Yeah,
just in case. Just give it a quick stab.
It's a good way to live.
Did you just randomly mention Chris Dupuis? Because I think I worked with him.
Oh yeah, he used to work.
Yeah. So you tell him I said hi.
Okay, I will.
Next time you see him, because that was a random one. I was like, my brain starts clicking. I'm like, I'm 90% sure I.
Yeah, no,
this.
he used to work at Watson. Yeah.
No, he left like right around the same time I did. It looks like I just did a quick search, and I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious.
That's so funny.
It's such a small industry.
It is. It really is.
Absolutely wild. Anyways, no, I thought that was
Hey,
funny. But yeah, no, mimics are scary. Have you
Yes.
seen the horrifying outhouse mimic?
Oh,
We-
where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
On our stream show, Paint and Slave V-Muse and Lauren, who's in chat, they painted an outhouse mini on there.
I've got it right
It's
here.
terrifying.
It's so wonderful. I really want to
Outhouse
put them
mimic.
in the game somewhere.
Me too. That's something I've been really pushing it. I'm talking to our art director about it as well, and he's like, it should be possible. He's like, it should be possible. He's like, are these? I showed him the mini, and he's like, is this real? I'm like, no, this is sanctioned, buddy.
Yeah,
this is canon.
Trademarked and everything.
This is. Let's do. So our art director's kind of excited, so we're gonna try and get an outhouse mimic. I mean, we're still trying to get like we're like almost there. I'll mention it because we've mentioned it before. Like we still want to get Thumbershot into our game.
Oh, yeah.
I have been shouting about this
You-
for so long.
You mean this little chunky boy right here?
That little chunky boy right there. Is that a ornament
My
or
mother.
something?
My mother-in-law
Where'd you
got
get
me
it?
this ornament
Oh my God.
for Christmas, and so I've just had it sitting on my desk.
I need
for
to
a
get my
while.
wife one of those. I will become her favorite husband.
of her many.
Of her, yes. Briefly, so William Prandy, we are not doing a giveaway today, but because of the sheer audacity of just typing "bang giveaway" in the chat when there's no giveaway, I'm going to send you a code for Rainbow Flump. So keep an eye on the whisper. What platform are you on?
Sometimes
Oh
the
my
audacity
Let me
gets
know
you.
what platform you're in. You're on.
I honestly like the biggest thing. So I'm happy to talk about how our onion's made a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Our code, our engine's a little old, and our code generation system is
Really?
a little
Is it?
clunky, a little clunky. And I would give anything to be able to just give a code that's like this just works on all three platforms. I would be so happy if I can do that. Like and there's like some wacky stuff. Like I'll just mention it right here. Like I'm able to make like a reusable code that's human readable. Like I can be like, here's a code that's like Rainbow Flump, but for PC only.
Yeah.
And then it won't work on anything else. And so it's like if it doesn't work on everything, then it's pointless. So like the system,
Yeah.
like it's like it feels like they like half implemented it, and they're like, okay, it works on PC, we're good. But it's like we don't even like it's like one of those weird funky tools that's like we don't own.
Mhm.
So,
No, I get you.
Yeah.
getting
We
any changes to it are like.
but when I
oh
got
my
into
God.
that system for the first time, God, I felt powerful.
Oh yeah. I mean, I went in there and I was like, oh, I can just like give myself stuff.
Oh man. So here's the thing. I played L Champions for quite a few years before I got the job here, and when I got on there, they're just like, oh yeah, this is the back end, where you could just kind of unlock things on your profile. I went,
Excuse me.
really now?
For the
What?
record, when we say we like give ourselves stuff, we're giving like we're talking like the promo code. There's nothing like
Yeah.
like we're not like giving ourselves like raid gear or anything. But like,
Oh
it was,
yeah.
like, It's like totally. It was totally wild once I got access to that system, and I was like, oh, the power, unlimited power. I can give myself all of the rainbow companions.
I will be a rainbow parade through the streets of Neverwinter.
Yes.
Even my shirt is rainbow. Woo, go Niners.
Oh, I was wearing my rainbow CNE shirt yesterday. I got Van Richten's today, so.
Nice.
That works.
Nice.
That's a great.
I gotta get more cool D&D shirts.
See, that's what I said too, and then I worked for CNE, and they sent me a bajillion T-shirts, and now I don't need to buy shirts anymore.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I was
Yes.
joking the other day that half my closet is cryptic T-shirts.
Yeah.
I was literally just talking with my dad about this. So many times I get shirts in my career and they're not feminine cuts, so I'm just like, oh great, another masculine shirt that I'm just gonna throw into the closet forever. So at one point my dad's like, you never wear these shirts? I'm like, no, here, have them. And so he's been wearing for the last 15 years at this point, probably. I don't think my dad's bought a new shirt. He's been just repping old games that I've worked on
I love it.
over the past 15 years because I just get so many like random shirts. But I will say that when I worked at Wizard of the Coast, they started doing this was like during the time I was there and I was so excited for this. a cool lady in production actually started made the rainbow tank tops and rainbow shirts that they do every year for the Treavor project.
Yeah.
And so those are my favorite D&D shirts. I wait for those every year. And I try to buy the new rainbow model.
Even
The new
though I'm in
model.
Southern
I don't know
California,
what
I
else to
always
do.
get end up getting a sweatshirt from that.
The hoodies are so nice and
nice.
they're comfortable. I like the tank tops personally because I live in the desert, so it's nice to have a little bit of ventilation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been trying
yeah.
to get past the t-shirt and jeans life. Try and find more interesting things to wear. I said Audacity would only work once, but Mac and Ketchup posted everyone's asking for a code, but no one's asking how the code's feeling. You get a code for that too, Mac and Ketchup. I've decided
it is the Wild West out here of codes.
I have decided that the new policy for codes is have you amused me in some way in the last few minutes? No, well, there'll be other giveaways that are more that are
like
less like that.
official,
But
yeah,
but I'm just enjoying the godlike power I have.
Oh no! See, that's the problem. That's the problem when they give you access to the tool is called Ace, so it's like it makes you even feel more powerful because the name is so epic. You're like, oh, I have access to Ace, and so you're like, I'm good to go. And no, it's just too much power. At one point when I got access to it, I was like, Brad, is it okay if I give away some codes? He's like, oh yeah, you can just give away a few codes. And I was like, great. Popped on to Neverwinter, turned on Dev Flag, and just started shouting codes.
Oh my god, the chaos, the pure chaos.
That's incredible.
It was
I should
bad.
do that. I should do that on launch day for some of the games.
You should. I literally just popped into Protector's Enclave and just like threw like 4 or 5 codes.
You were Sergeant Knox that day, just shouting into the.
Yeah, and then I went to the newest zone and threw like 5 codes in there. Then what's the newest zone? And then I logged off. And
That's
I didn't want to
so
get any messages.
good.
I just like booked
That
it.
is, yeah.
But,
When you turn on the dev flag, I don't know if you can turn on the dev flag in idle champions
can.
and talk to people.
Oh,
no.
But okay. But when you turn on the dev flag in any of our games, it's genuinely hilarious because you get so many people, especially people who were like trash talking a few minutes ago, are now like, "Hi, I love you. Please, can you deal with my one specific issue that I have?" It's very specific.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't do it that often. Pop on live it with the dev flag. I do it actually more in champions for the costume contest because that's like a thing that a bunch of devs pop on and we do a quick costume contest every month. But like every once in a while I'll pop on Neverwinter with Brett's approval and say and chat for a few minutes and with the dev flag on, and it's just wild how many messages you'll get.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't type fast enough to respond to somebody, so I feel kind of bad. Like I get a bunch of messages. I'm like, oh, I know that's an issue, but I can't even find your message anymore to respond to you.
Yeah, I will get messages on our Discord stuff. I'm like, I'm the writer. I can't do anything.
We have one poor developer. We have one poor developer who on the Neverwinter Discord is alphabetically the highest, and so when people go to developers, they just message him immediately every time, all the time.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know about that.
Yeah. But it's okay.
God,
You're G. You're further down the page.
I'm glad I started with the C on my dev name on Discord. Oh, that's wild. I know who it is now because I pulled up the Discord, but like I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. That's like the top name gets all the messages.
Yeah. Stanford Hannah over on Facebook says she I assume she, sorry if that's wrong, wants to come back to the game, but it's not returning player friendly. My advice would be start a new character and play through the tutorial. You don't have to stay with that character, but that's when you're coming back to a game you've been away from for a while. That's the easiest way to like refamiliarize yourself. And then once you know what you're doing, you can go back to your original character.
Yeah,
that's literally what I did when I went back to play the Light as Rix's thing. I'm like, oh, I haven't played this in a while. Started a new character. I went, okay, I see what's different now. Hop back over to my cleric.
Great, let's do it.
Man, when I did that even when we changed with module 21 when we changed the level cap, I was like, oh great, I'm making a new character. I'm going to play all the way through, and we're starting over, and then I'll go back to my old character after I played through it once. So I made a wizard, and I leveled up a wizard all the way to max level, which a class that I hadn't played before. Yeah. And I was like, okay, now we're going back to the warlock. Now that I understand the game again.
Mike is furiously typing.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Right,
the Mac and Ketchup didn't know where to find their code, so I'm just letting them know that I whispered it to them. Yes. But also,
furiously typing. What type of keyboard is that? It sounds like
that's a Razer keyboard, I believe. It's got it's got green LEDs, so it's most likely a Razer keyboard.
Oh, it's definitely a gaming keyboard if it's from Razer. That's one of my hobbies. I like to build my own. So like.
Misa. Yeah, I'm judging in Keychron right now. So.
Are we judging in Keychron right now?
Oh yeah.
So there's
yeah, you got the knob too. Yeah.
There's a store in Little Tokyo here in LA that has like really crazy awesome like streetwear clothes and for some reason heavily customizable keyboards, and they got like the wooden keycaps and like just the really, I'm like, oh, that looks so good.
I'm wild on keyboards. There's literally like probably 15, 20 keyboards in the house. In my hobby space.
This is my super loud one if I want everyone to know I'm writing.
That's hilarious. I can't
my other
handle
one's out there.
The loud ones set my dog off. So pretty much use only silent ones. The loud ones trigger him.
I don't know if this will come through, but
That's a good noise right there.
This one's got blue switches in it. You can hear this one across the house.
Every time we're recording a podcast, at least once I have to tell my co-host, Jairus, stop typing. Stop typing.
I just built. I'll have to show you them after the stream because they're not in this room. But I just built 2 new keyboards for that are Evangelion themed.
Yes, that's awesome.
One of them's a split keyboard. It's super cool.
Not to get back on topic of Neverwinter, but I do have a question that you can probably answer, Misa. Marlon2123 wants to know: will we ever put Tutor on Zen Market? I don't think so, because I think that's a special item we need to have somewhere else. Yeah.
Tutor's a promo item, but we do the feedback of I want Tutor is definitely taken, and we rotate like Tutor will appear in the Astral Lockbox. Tutor appears in a decent amount of other places periodically. I actually, now off the top of my head, can't remember the last time we put Tutor in so as a promo. So that is a really good feedback, and I will relay that to our dev team to try and include that in one of the next updates, because that's one of our rotating promos, and won't appear in the Zen Market, but we can make it appear in the game again.
Cool. Chaos Lord also says, any chance of seeing Tales of Old event coming back or getting Paranoid Delusion back in the market? And those are both your territory.
Tales of Old event.
Yeah.
That is dead. That is so.
I thought so.
That is dead and buried. That is a nightmare for me to run.
Okay. But if I give you this diamond, then can you?
But periodically, the Tales of Old items appear in the Zen Market, so those are accessible for purchases, and the chapters appear in the Wondrous Bazaar. And then we also periodically we do upgrade, re-release new, more powerful, higher item level versions of artifacts. I don't know if there's any Tales of Old plans for re-release of a stronger version with a new acquisition method, but it's probably not out of the realm of possibility. So, but yeah, the event itself, we're looking into ways to unvault the event, I guess is the best way of saying it, kind of like we did with Rothe Valley, but it's not something that we're going to run in its original form again. It might come back in, the zones might come back in a different form.
Cool. All right.
The CTA is actually in work too. I did see this one. I did read this one. And blast me for this.
Misa, how dare you?
Well, everybody's quiet. CTA.
It's true.
CTA. That one I believe is being actively worked on or actively discussed being worked on. So those actually, there might be some. I don't know if they come back in the exact same form, but they are again on the unvaulting list.
Yeah. Benjamin Donato, this question was answered by other chatters, but just to be sure, yes, Neverwinter is on consoles. You can play it on Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series, whatever series you have.
In fact, that's majoritively where I've played it.
It's so confusing. Xbox made it hard for me. PlayStation just makes it simple. It's like, it's PlayStation, then it's 2, then it's 3, then it's 4, then it's 5. Xbox is like, let's just go wild.
Yeah.
After they did Xbox 360, I'm like, great, let's go for a 720, and then we'll be doing kickflips.
Xbox 720 Skater Die.
Tony Hawk edition.
Oh man, that was the hardest game on Nintendo. Anyway, so what kind of stuff are you guys? You said you're working on Planescape right now. What kind of stuff is Idle Champions putting out soon?
We're focusing on Planescape right now. I think the big thing that for the community right now that they are very excited about is the fact that we've been bringing the Baldur's Gate 3 characters into the game.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And
that's super exciting.
Yeah, who all do we got? We brought Lae'zel, Astarion, Will.
Did you talk to any of them? Like,
I didn't get to talk to the voice actors, and we've been one of the really cool things that's been about this process that is much different from how I normally work is when I write the flavor text for all the equipment and I come up with the names for them and stuff. And normally all that does is it goes through an approval process internally, or if it's worth the content creator, it goes to them, they give approvals, they come back. This time, they actually got sent to the writer of the character.
Oh my god.
And they approved it. So I was like, okay, I really got to get my Astarion voice on here, because it's going to be read by the person that wrote Astarion.
Did you just spend a bunch of time in the mirror going, darling?
Essentially, yes.
Did they ask for any rewrites, or were they just like, you nailed it?
So like it was kind of dependent on the character. Shadow Hearts one sticks out in my head because like there was like only one real note on it, and it was that they added hardly to one of the lines. I'm like, of course, she says that all the time. Why didn't I think of having that in at least one of these?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I hardly think that. Other times there were ones where it's just like they came up with something completely different for that piece of equipment and put it in there. I'm like, yep, nope, that's great. You nailed it. But I did get to talk to one of the writers. For folks out there for Neverwinter, I host a show called Idle Insights on the CNE Games Twitch channel.
It's really fun. You should go watch it.
Yeah, we have some awesome guests. Yeah.
we appear over there sometimes too.
Yeah.
That means they only have the coolest, the finest of the guests.
Exactly. But I did get to talk to the writer of Karlach, Sarah Bayless.
Oh, that's
cool.
And I apologize during the show because like I am a writer but this is my first time as a video game writer, and I'm the only one at CNE. Like there's not a team of writers or anything. It is just me. And so like
pressure's on.
Oh yeah, but I started like getting like really into the weeds about writing process within a group of people and stuff like that. I was like, I apologize for how like nerdy I'm getting on this technique and stuff, but I want to know this stuff.
That sounds amazing. I gotta go look that up.
That was a really good talk, and getting to talk to her about like the reception that Karlach has gotten since the release, and how that's been making her feel and everything. It was a really good chat.
Nice.
That's super awesome.
Oh, actually, I should point out Lauren in the chat. She hosted an episode with the writer for Astarion. I was out that week, and
cool.
she did a fantastic job talking with him.
That's awesome.
That's super cool. Yeah. This is the first time you got to work with like external writers with like on Idle Champions or in general.
Yeah, like because I mean like I guess sort of because like when we work with content creators, because one of the things that we do in our game is that, some of the streaming shows that everybody loves will bring their characters in. Like we did Black Dice Society where we brought all those characters in, and so I will send what I have to the content creator for that, and they may be like, this doesn't sound like Desmond, or this doesn't sound like Vornika, and they might make a tweak to it or something like that. That's about as far as that went. But yeah, we're getting notes back from people at Larian Studios was a wild experience.
That is amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah, that reminds me of like when we Winter, our writer, before she switched to a different project, worked with R.A. Salvatore.
Oh yeah.
She was super nervous. She's like, oh god, I'm gonna get redlined by R.A. Salvatore. And then, like, obviously it doesn't happen because he's super nice and he's like, oh yeah, that's super nice.
Yeah.
We'll work together, and he's like super easy to work with. And so it was just an incredible experience for everybody involved. But like at the beginning, we're all like, oh god, you're working with a New York Times bestselling author, or you're working with like Larian Studios Game of the Year, like right, like the biggest D&D game that's been released in a long time. It's totally exciting. Like, and you're like, oh god. I don't want to like mess up somebody. I don't want to mess up Driss. I don't want to mess up Karlach. I don't want to mess up Astarion.
That's the weird thing about me though, is that I'm like, no, I want you to redline it. Like
teach me how to get there.
That's the thing. I want to know what I did wrong, and I want to be able to learn from it. Like I mentioned Erin M. Evans, who had my job before me. She read the novel that I wrote, and she was like, okay, what kind of notes do you want back on this? Are you looking for this? I went, tear it apart. Just rip it down to the structure. I want to know.
I made that mistake once. I had an author who was like, there's a famous author who actually wrote some D&D stuff. She was writing, she needed to raise money for her dog's vet visit, I think. And so she was like, I will look at the first X of your manuscript and like, you tell me how brutal you want to be. And I was like, tear it apart. And then she did. And I was like, I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Like my poor heart.
Maybe it had it. I said tear it apart, but we were already friends, so she did it in a friend tearing it apart.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like how about tear it apart but gently.
Yeah.
Tear it apart.
Bury me gently, brother.
Yeah.
With bedside manner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want Dr. House coming in here. Like, let's do this a little softer.
Oh boy. But
yeah,
been a fun experience.
That's cool. Somebody in chat mentioned Deck of Many Things. I don't know if you said that and I missed it earlier, but are you guys planning on doing anything with that?
We don't have anything right now announced for Deck of Many Things. I did get the book and everything, and it is one of my favorite D&D products that has come out recently. It's so dang pretty. Actually, I'll give a little tease for this. There's an interview this Thursday coming out. I pre-recorded it yesterday with Tristan Falcone, who works at WotC, but also plays Walnut Dongrass from Acquisitions Incorporated. But
nice.
they actually worked on that product, and they talk about working on the graphic design and everything for it. It was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see. I'm not even sure how you would work that into either Idle Champions or Neverwinter. Like it would be. Oh, it would be. Like,
I could, but the dev team would kill me.
Yeah, it's like you get get
would it be worth it?
I don't know. It's like you play the item and then you get a random effect and good luck.
See, that's the best part about being the content designer is I'm just like, I just put some words on a thing and I think that's a cool idea, and then people have to take that and figure out how to make it work, and I don't have to be one of those.
I have that with when I'm writing for Champions. Julia or someone on the team will give me like some basic, like, this is what you kind of need to the lines you kind of need to stay within, and then from there I'm just like, I guess I'll just do whatever the hell I want, and then she can tell me if it's bad.
Lauren pointed out in the chat, we actually do have one champion in the game that uses the Deck of Many Things.
We have a Deck of Many Things in the game.
Oh, do you? What does it do?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
I believe we do. Let me double check. I mean, I don't want to like put my foot in my mouth.
But Laura would say that Eliwick Tumblestrom, who is originally from the Magic the Gathering set and is in Wild Beyond the Witchlight, we brought her into the game, and she uses. I love
that book, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great book. But she uses in her backstory, she became the greatest bard in the multiverse because she got the Wish card. And wished for that. So we actually incorporated that into her character design, and so you get to pick a card.
I'm not sure if my mic caught it, but one of our Neverwinter system designers called over my shoulder and said, "Yes, we do have the Deck of Many Things in the game. So I don't even have to go look it up. It's fantastic."
Say hi to one of our systems designers.
Yes. Hello, one of your system designers.
It's Miku.
Yeah,
It's Miku.
yeah, I know. I am fully aware of who is in your house
For
right now.
everybody else, it's Miku. For everybody who's not Mike and knows that Miku and I share an office.
So I'm gonna ask the crazy question that always comes
Do
up.
it.
What's something you would love to work into Idle Champions that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh.
And why is it Eberron? No, I'm kidding.
Actually, I snuck Eberron in last year.
Nice. Nice.
Nailed it.
Yep, there.
Best.
I got to make my own adventure for one of. There was a filler section, and I made a tavern full of taverns, and one
You
of
did
them
a
was an
filler
Eberron tavern.
episode?
Yes, I did.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
I did. Yeah.
I want to make a filler episode now.
I've wanted to make
that
one
was
with
the
Star
thing.
Trek for so long.
We had this spot in the Light of Xerxes one, and Dupuy was like, "Just do whatever you want," and I went, "Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that."
I
so-
cannot be allowed to do that.
And I went,
That's
"Cool."
illegal use of constraints.
I was like, cool. So I'm gonna make a tavern that floats out in wild space that is held in the grasp of a dead god that has an infinite amount of taverns inside of it that our champions are gonna go through. Also, I'm gonna pull in a character from my home game who I'm gonna seed there for the Planescape adventure. So
Frantically
you just said let me do
taking
anything.
Frantically taking notes.
It's fantastic. Do you ever have to go through like approval processes, like where you go and talk with like Wizard of the Coast?
Yes.
Make sure everything's kosher.
So the character that I just mentioned, I had a character. I have a character in my home game who I've used on streams and stuff like that, named Mrs. Fox. And I was like, I want to bring her into the game because why not? I'm doing stuff now. I'm gonna do that. And so we did get approval from WotC to do that. Because it's not technically an official thing or anything. I'm like, she's just a weird character, and
Yeah.
and now
It's
and
not
and
like
now
you're
she's-
writing a 4,000-page lore book about how she's the most
Exactly.
important person in the universe.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, but I'm trying to think like what would I want to bring into Idle Champions? I mean, like the sappy answer, my friends' characters. Like I'm a forever DM, and I love my friends' characters. I'm a huge fan of theirs, and I'd love to see their stupid faces running through the game.
I used to when I was a very 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 junior dev almost 2 decades ago. I had to name items and I had to name hundreds and hundreds of items, and so I got to the point where eventually like the juices are just gone.
Yeah.
And so I started taking my friends' character names and anagramming them into something else.
Nice.
I love
and
that.
then putting them into the game as like something's item of the stars, and it's like, and then I'm like, great. I have an item, and then if I ever tell this person I'm a dev, which I may or may not, they'll know that this is their item.
I love that.
I have been holding on to character names from when I used to work at a frame store. People had to leave their names behind, to pick up their framing jobs, and there were so many good ones. I've only used one so far. The novel I'm writing is starring Melody Hammer, which is a real person's name. There was also like Gloria Riding Sword. I can't remember any of the rest of them right now.
Oh my
but I have them all
gosh.
somewhere. Yeah, I'm like, this is perfect.
Those are some good names, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're like, at one point I had to name like several. I think it was like almost like 400 effect, like in-game like item effects,
Yeah.
like equipment effects, and I'm like, I start like anagramming or start like reimagining like freaking metal songs, like grab song names and spin that stuff around and shuffle it, grab inspiration from wherever you can.
Yeah.
I was grabbing. At that point, I'm like, my eyes are turning bloodshot. I'm grabbing inspiration from my freaking my Winamp playlist. At that point.
I hear that really kicks a llama's ass. So
hey, when you look in a game and you're like, that Storm's Fury, and it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of songs that are named something like Storm's Fury, and you can anagram that, and
like
that came from a song list.
That's definitely like something that I am very lucky about with the position that I have, because like with the equipment that we have, really, we have 6 categories, and there's only 3 graphics, but there are 4 items, and that's because the common and uncommon are the same graphic.
Okay.
And
okay.
so because of that, I have to write flavor text and name the same image twice. And so
Killing me.
at the start of it, I was doing essentially what we were doing beforehand, where I was just coming up with like, like, oh, this is training sword and this is weak sword and, something like that. And so I just started doing my own thing now where, because I even saw a conversation in the Discord once about how people actually do enjoy collecting all of the gear, like every rarity of it.
Yeah.
And they kind of like the common gear. So what I've done now is I've actually made it so the common gear is more of a concept, where it's a concept about the item. So like one of Astarion's that I had to write twice for was a dead rat. Because that's what he was feeding on. But
Sure.
that showed up twice. And so I called the uncommon one, like dead rat or something like that. But I called the common one the first of many. And so like I've started doing that. And that's why I say like I'm lucky in the role that I'm in, because I can just decide that's how it is now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
reminds me of how they name guns in Destiny, honestly.
Oh, well, okay. Real talk though, Destiny, like I played a lot of that game, so there may be a bit of that inspiration in there.
But that's fine. Like game, like I've been working in this game industry for a really long time, and it's like people are constantly like seeing a good idea that another game does and being like, how would that work in mine?
Yeah.
Or how would we make that better? Or how would we make that ours? And that's fine. That goes all the way back to like the, if I remember correctly, like Wrath of the Lich King and Blizzard is like they copied EverQuest 1's Ice Zone, if I remember correctly. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I'm sure EverQuest did.
No, not really. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't really get mad at somebody being like, oh, you made an Ice Zone. We made an Ice Zone.
Yeah.
It's similar. Like, what? It's like, so anytime like you can find some cool thing to make your game better and like spin like this world into your story, that's always a great feeling. So
yeah,
that's how we kind of do incremental innovation here.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And if I can bring that to an idle D&D game, I'll do it.
Just having that kind of freedom is always the most fun.
Yeah.
But like, so we had something cool. We just had our Challenge of the Gods events run. We had a new lockbox. We had a golden armored griffin for this one. So that one I thought was pretty cool.
Ding! And there it is on the screen, but I'm not screen sharing anymore, so you can't see it.
It's okay. I believe
That's fine. I trust you that it is on the other thing. And if everybody's, because I think we're nearing we've been going for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
We do have coming up in the next.
Oh yeah, I was
weeks,
just about to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Oh, you're about to ask
No,
me
do
about
it.
that?
No, do it. I'm saying good job. Keep going.
Go. Great. I'm going to keep going. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we have our Lunar New Year event, which is the Feast of Lanterns. And this year is the Year of the Dragon. And we have a fantastic... When this came in from Art, I was like, oh my goodness. We have a fantastic mount coming for...
So it is so
please
pretty.
Feel free to be excited of our Jade Dragonel, and
I am very excited. Not least of which because it looks like it could be a Power Ranger sword.
Well, it's also like So the Jade. What's super cool about this Dragonel is that it's the material is different than our normal mount. So it actually it's called the Jade Dragonel, and the intent was to make it look like it was actually made out of jade. But it's a living dragon, so it's kind of like a gem style It's really cool,
and it really looks like that. You can see the reflections and the nice glossy.
I pulled up the stream to look at it. That's so pretty.
Our art team did a really, really good job. This was planned for quite some time, and I'm not sure if the Jade interacts with the light sources, but this is one of our very we are super proud of this one, so we're super excited to see a lot of these running around.
And looking at it in the picture, I'm pretty sure it does because I see light reflections.
Yeah,
on
I think it does have a little bit of light reflections. It does not fly. It has big wings, but they just look cool. But yes, this is our exciting new art for the Lunar New Year. I hope everybody enjoys this. We also have a couple of new there's more new mounts coming up in the next couple of events. So
Terramax says, "Heck yeah, Jade Dragonel in chat."
But did he make it? No,
I think he
it
might.
somebody else. But no, that one I'm super excited about. So it's been a it's been a long wait to get this exposed to players. So I'm looking forward to seeing them in the game.
William Prandy, I'm going to answer this question because I actually love answering this question because I think it's one of the great misconceptions about video game development that I can hopefully correct one stream at a time. When people say, can you switch Neverwinter to a new engine to get better graphics? That's actually not what an engine does. An engine is just the code base that makes all the things display and work and the things you interact with work. So if we were to spend let's say 2 years it would take porting Neverwinter over to, say, Unreal, when we were finished, it actually would look exactly the same because the art assets that we put in there would be the same art assets. What you're talking about would not require an engine change. It just would require a lot of time for us to go through the game and update everything.
There's a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
So that's why you often don't. It's not super common that you see games go and do a super overhaul of their graphics.
Yeah.
It's only really very large companies
Yeah.
or games that have gotten a really recent influx of funding.
Yeah. Blizzard did it, I think, once, but I think they only changed their character art. I don't think they went through much of the other game.
So people will go through I think EverQuest 2 did a couple of targeted let's do some global blanket adjustments to make the characters look better.
We did that in Stowe as well. We made the humanoid form a little better.
Yeah, but it's never something where it's let's take the gameplay of the game that we currently have and make it look like it came out on PS5 last week.
Yeah.
That is not something that most games have the ability to do.
Yeah, it's not that straightforward. I mean, Trevor obviously has the ability to replace his game entirely with AAA hyper realistic.
Oh yeah,
graphics
no.
At any time.
I just so y'all know, there's a button I could press that
we
says
all have
3D
the button.
graphics. But yeah, it's right over here, just off screen.
Mine's actually portable. You can actually.
Here it comes.
But if I push
Misa,
it,
you didn't press the button. Press the button, Misa.
You want me to push this on the?
I want you to push it.
Fine. I don't even know which one I'm holding.
You're holding fire, I think.
Yeah, heat.
Or heat.
Oh god, what is it?
Oh right, because you got the CSM one that does all the other noises. Mine just goes Hito.
Yeah, no, it's better with this one. This one does it better.
Yeah.
But this is just me showing off my nerd toys with the buttons.
Yes. Well, we have hit about an hour on this. So I will. I'm going to start looking for someone for us to raid. But while I'm doing that, Trevor, if people want to see you more, talk to you more, or listen to your thoughts, where should they go?
Oh god, there's almost too many places.
Perfect.
Give us
Love
your
that.
best. Give us your best plug. Give us your best, both personal and your. If you
Yeah.
want,
I mean, you can follow me on the Dystopian social medias, I guess. I'm slightly active there. It's at the Trevor. There's an A hiding in there. You can find me on Idle Insights on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/CNEGames. You can listen to the Way Too Many podcasts I do. I do a writing podcast called Writing About Dragons and Shit with B. Dave Walters and Aaron M. Evans. I do one called I'm Gonna Podcast where I'm just talking with my friends and we're being stupid. From the Same Mister, where you get to find out what it's like being donor conceived and talking to all of your half siblings.
Voice, so it works.
Other Side of Suspicion has 10 episodes and it's just me and my friends talking about paranormal stuff and it was kind of fun. There's the old difficulty class podcast where you can hear me rave about Idle Champions before I ever worked there.
Did you link them that to try and get the job?
Actually, well, that is actually how I ended up getting the job. It somehow got into the hands of their marketing director. He gave us codes. I reached out to them about having Eric, our CEO, on the show. He was on twice, and then he reached out to me about being community manager. So yes, it was.
That's amazing. We have somebody on Stowe who was like that. He did a podcast called Stoked for years, and then one day the design director was like, "Have you ever considered systems design?"
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Awesome. We should do some cross promotion of our podcast, Trevor, because I've never heard of yours and you've probably never heard of mine. So let's get people hearing about both of them.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Well, folks in the chat, thank you
should,
so much
have
for
guest stars on the podcast.
yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so much fun chatting to people about Neverwinter and Idle Champions, and we always have a great time with Trevor. Thank you for being on, Trevor. It's been a blast. And there was one more person that I sent a question to about a platform for their code, and they didn't respond to me. So if you check your whispers on Twitch, and you have a message from me asking for a platform, jump on it because you might get a code. All right. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining us. My name is Mike Fadum. I have been your host, joined by Misa Gans and Treavor Bettis, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.